like groovy podcast hosted by inebriated people. That's Kai with the cracking voice and Heather's touched by evil. One thinks he's Spider-Man, the other is a ninja. It's the Man I Love Fun podcast, it's the MILFcast.
Hello everyone and welcome to another MILFcast mini. Or as I like to call them, the fun-sized edition of the Man I Love Fun podcast. I'm your host Kai. Joining me as always, the Baxton to my park, Heather Baxendale, my co-host. Say hello, Heather.
Baxton Parkendale.
Baxton Parkendale? Is that like a person?
Baxton Parkendale. That's our new name.
That's awesome. I like
It is actually.
So in true MILFcast fashion, we've continued to have technical difficulties at the beginning of the show, which is going to cut a little into our time, and I apologize for that. And I can't see the chat, so you're going to have to keep me abreast of what's going on until I can get my phone out.
You said breast.
I did say breast. Boobies. Anyway, so tonight Heather thought it would be a good idea to talk about gaming on Twitch, which I don't know if that'll be popular or not, but we're going to try it. So
feels like the place for it.
Yeah.
I was going to say the opposite. I thought it was really weird, and nobody would want to come and listen to us talk about video games, for sure.
Well, and you decided you wanted to bring a guest in tonight, and since he's your buddy, why don't you go ahead and introduce our friend while I deal with some of this crap.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to HeatherCast again. It's Wednesdays. I'm going to start taking over the show. Okay, so I get really excited because this week my favorite game of all time is coming out remastered in one gameplay with all sorts of magical goodness attached to it, and one of my favorite gaming buddies and nerd buddies, Michael Litwin, agreed to come on the show and talk about nerdy stuff with us. So here he is.
Indeed. Hello.
So how do you guys, first of all, at Kilo Tango 1122 on the socials, how do you guys know each other?
This is actually the first time we've ever seen each other in live action.
I didn't ask when is the first time you ever saw each other. I said, how do you know each other?
Yeah, but I don't like to answer your questions.
I think that we met through Facebook. I think it was Rob Dinner.
Yes.
A mutual friend of ours is who we met through, and we just started kind of chatting in groups and stuff like that. And,
he runs all of these fantastic nerd groups that I've been frequenting in over the years. And one is literally called Nerd Rage, and the other one is Gaming Discussion. And I liked him immediately because he didn't take people's shit and just kicked out buddies that had been in there for years because they acted like jackasses and said, sorry, you're my friends, but the rules are rules. And I'm like, I love an overlord like that.
I think I realized I hit it off with you, and I think it's something that continues still, that you're basically if I were a woman, I would probably be Heather Baxendale, because we're both fans of the Aliens series, we're both big gamers, and actually learn more about you listening to your past episodes. So it's kind of interesting. I'm like, yes, absolutely. So
I'm an enigma. Nobody knows. Anytime anybody says they know me, I always say, what you don't know about me, I could fill the Grand Canyon with.
Right.
There's a reason. Well, that's actually not true, because I keep telling more and more people on social platforms stuff about me, and therefore it becomes out in the void.
Right. That'll happen.
So here's the thing. I don't do a lot of gaming. It's not that I don't want to, it's that I don't have a ton of time, because between my job, my art, my family, I just don't. And quite honestly, when I do have free time, I'd much rather be drawing characters that could be used in games rather than playing the games. I've got my favorites. Heather's all... I almost felt like we should have a second guest on for me to talk to this week while you guys had a separate conversation, but that's fine. I like video games to a certain extent. But Heather's all batshit crazy, taking days off this week because Mass Effect's come out. So I assume that was the inspiration behind this whole idea, correct?
It was.
Yes.
It was.
Yep.
I sound so old on Twitch right now, by the way.
Well, and that's the thing, too, is, I wanted to have Michael, which actually in my house I refer to him as Litwin. My husband has never met him, but Mike knows of him, and because there's so many Mikes that I just refer to him as Litwin. And he knows you very well. But I said, I really want it. When we started doing the streaming, I was like, I'd really like to have Litwin on. He's like into so much great stuff and in gaming, and I know we want to kind of go into things that we haven't talked about before on the show because it's been all movies, and this just seemed like a good opportunity. And even if you haven't played a lot of video games, if you like science fiction and you like games in any capacity, Mass Effect is the game to play.
Okay, go into detail on that. Why Mass Effect? Because that's one of the ones I've never played, and I'm aware of it. I'm not totally dumb. I know that it exists.
The scope of it is just, it's massive. A friend of mine gave me his copy of it because he tossed his Xbox out the window years ago and said, here, just take the copy, play it, see if you like it. I bet it'll change your life. And Jeffy was correct. It changed my life, my entire gaming life. I wasn't as big into RPGs at the time. I was more into shooter games and multiplayer. I was really hardcore into Call of Duty and Gears of War. And this changed. This and Skyrim together were like the baby of that. But it's a science fiction story about a woman or man. You get to decide who you want to play as. I'm a femshep. I have a ring with H femshep on it. It says N7 on it. I'm serious.
I have no idea. Now I know why every friend I have looks at me like I'm a complete weirdo when I talk about all my nerdy shit.
Well, and this is why,
this
because we're
means.
speaking in another language, kind of. But it is your language, because the thing that's great about RPGs, Kai, is it is story based. And it's equivalent to like what I would say is a choose your own adventure story from when we were kids. You have all these options. You can play as the good guy who's going to go do all of the benevolent things to try and save the universe and be kind. Or you can do like I do and go mostly renegade and kind of be an asshole and tell everybody, why won't you fucking listen to me? Do these things. We need to save the verse and we need to get some allies because these bad guys are coming. And that's basically the whole series. Is that fair? It's basically Shep running around going, hey, the Reapers are coming. Hey, the Reapers are coming.
And nobody listening to him at all.
No.
It's, I myself has always been into RPGs. I actually ended up with Mass Effect in a similar way. I had a buddy who had a banned Xbox 360 and a stack of burned CDs, and like, here, take all these games, you can have them. And that's the first time I played Mass Effect, and it's really, story is the big thing for me.
So are we talking like Dungeons and Dragons World of Warcraft, or are we talking like I'm sorry, you can tell me. You say story. I'm really like in the dark here. You gotta like paint the fucking picture for me, guys.
So that's exactly what it is. The basic plot is you've investigated some abductions and things that are going on the outer rims of the galaxy, and nobody knows what exactly is happening. In the background, there's political espionage and lots of characters who are not paying attention to your warnings. They bring you in because you're kind of a rogue and a badass, and you're someone who gets it done, and they don't want to go according to the exact rules. And also, humans in this universe are brand new to this whole entire political thing that they've had going on for centuries and centuries. We're like the babies, and we're arrogant assholes, and nobody wants to listen to us either. It's really great, but you get genuinely frustrated with the people who are fucking with you.
But this is one of those games where I have to stop and listen to all the text on the screen.
You want to.
God, I don't want to.
You want to. You want to watch the cutscenes.
I fucking
like I
hate that part of the
said,
game.
I never got into these kinds of games until I really played this one and immersed myself into it. The story on the first game from start to finish is my favorite of probably any video game ever. It's that good. The mechanics of it are pretty broken, but that becomes part of the fun.
Our friend Seb Guts in the chat said Star Wars / Firefly meets The Witcher.
That's totally bonkers, but it's not completely off.
Yeah, it's not. You're not wrong.
I don't know that I'd throw Witcher in there, but maybe some of the stylistic ways the game plays. It's also you still get to have all the action in it too. You get to kill a lot of bad guys, and it's a third-person shooter, which I prefer myself.
What's a third-person shooter?
A third-person shooter
over the shoulder.
Yeah.
Camera's over the shoulder.
You got to shoot backwards.
No, sir.
No, not even a little bit.
You can see over the shoulder, like literally.
It's like the camera's here behind you.
Oh, so like the games where you can go from first person to back here. That's like first person,
yes,
third person.
Yes, it's just a shifting of that.
What is second person shooter?
I don't know that exists.
I can't believe they went right over 2 and went to 3. So where does Mass Effect stand in the standing of all the current big games? Like, is this a huge release this weekend? Are people going apeshit? Are there boners everywhere?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's
I
I thought
old.
so.
Yeah,
Um,
it's huge, mainly because I think of the improvements that they've been making to the game. This is a science fiction epic. It spans 3 games. You start off as a human officer. You end up like the guy who saves the galaxy, depending on how you look at it, I guess, at the end. But
Oh, so there's some like
yeah, I mean, you
ambiguous
Yes.
have
that little Blade Runner action, like hero, not hero. What's going on?
yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There you
It's
are
story
definitely you
time
can
with Kai. I
play.
love
You
this.
can play. You can play as an anti-hero if you prefer to. Big time.
Yep.
There's some there are dark turns you can take with your character.
oh
Dark
man, tell me
turns
we're
you
not
can
gonna.
take.
Indeed.
That's very
Yeah.
in depth. It's like Grand Theft Auto. You can do everything.
Mass Effect 3, Genophage Cure scarred me for life. The Genophage
Same.
Cure sabotage
Yep.
scarred me.
Same.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not being
I can see.
condescending. I was
There's,
trying to
I
there,
feel
there
this.
really are. There are emotional levels of the story that are just incredible. And for me too, the characters are part of the best part of it. They're so real. Like for me, Garrus Vakarian, who I have on my wall.
That's
over
not a
here,
real
which is
name.
one- Yes, it is, and
No.
he's amazing.
That's the guy you like
Uh,
that was in Fear the Walking Dead
he's-
and Looper.
Stop it.
Garrus.
You want to go to Garrett Dillahunt again?
That guy, yeah. He's
See,
in-
now
I didn't
you're
know he
bringing
was
him
the
in
game.
this time. But he's probably one of my favorite characters in anything I've ever played. He's right up there with Geralt for me as far as just incredible characters. But he's the best wingman you're ever going to have in any
Absolutely.
media platform.
Chewbacca.
Ever. He's Archangel, and you develop like these real relationships with them. You get to pick your love interests. They have a couple, pretty white bread characters with like Ashley and Caden. They're the least
That's
interesting, I
Oh,
think. but
Caden
they-
has got to be white bread. Like,
Oh gosh,
seriously.
he so is, and
Especially if like it's spelled the Y.
you get to romance aliens too. You got to have naughty time with the aliens. Like with Garrus,
That's
if you
true.
decide to romance him when you're a femshep, you actually have to research the sexy time.
Femshep? Oh my god. I feel
which
less
also-
awkward talking to my children in their vernacular than I do with this.
Are you familiar, Heather? I meant to ask you this because I listened to there's another podcast, Mass Effect Lorecast. I'll tell you about it later. But they were talking on that how you get the. I'm dying from the names. The courtesan, the Asari courtesan.
Yes.
Okay, there's a trinket. Do you know what you're supposed to do? There's actually with that trinket that you get from her.
No.
There is actually a sphere hidden on a planet off map, and it goes. There's some story piece that's in there. If you take that trinket to the specific planet.
Is this one of the DLCs?
No, it was in the base game, but it's so off the grid that usually people didn't find
Okay,
it.
that's another thing that I would say about this game that's amazing, and you can get this in a few other games that you've played, like Skyrim or Witcher 3, where you can go back so many times and you're still discovering new things over and over again. I've played this actual series, the entire trilogy, I think 10 times now. I usually play it once a year.
Wow.
Yeah, I usually play it
Wow.
once a year, and it's been a good year and a half. So I'm excited, and I didn't have all the DLC. That's another great thing about this. It's not only being remastered. They're selling it as the 3 games together as one, but they are adding in all that downloadable content too. I've had a bunch of it, but I only got it within the last couple years.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about that. They've worked on some of the bugs in the game.
There's bugs in the
They've
game?
there's bugs in most games.
Yes, sure.
They've
notes.
they fixed the mechanics on the original Mako in the first game, but you can pick it to be either broken like it is originally if you enjoy that, which I do. I hate it and love it at the same time because I figured it out. Or you can have the upgraded fixed mechanics on it as well. So you have all these great options to run through it again, and you're getting it in 4K quality. They've spent a lot of time and money rebuilding this entire game. It is so exciting.
Well, what's really interesting is I was reading, I think it was a PC Gamer article with Mac Walken and Kevin Meir is the director and creative director of the Legendary Edition. And one thing that they were talking about is they actually used mods as a benchmark. So basically they're looking at what everybody's doing to the original game on PC, what they're doing to improve it. And then they use that as, okay, this is our starting point. this is what we're going to do to the game. That's where all the resurfacing, the new hair textures, the clothing options, everything else. And I think that speaks to current gaming. If you look at the recent issues with CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk, where they're starting to learn that they'll go really far if they listen to their fans, if they listen to the people that love the games.
Yes.
Yep.
And that's that perfect point. That was another thing I was planning on coming to, was exactly how the games that are made for the entire purpose of video games is to do fan service. People get pissed in movies and TV and other mediums where fan service is done. That is exactly what gamers want. You give us what we fucking want and ask for. And
exactly.
And the companies that have been best at doing it, CD Projekt Red is a good one. Rockstar's another good one. And BioWare has had some falters over the years, but Mass Effect, that's exactly what they've done here. They've done this for us.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I also feel like this may be a preemptive strike to maybe another Mass Effect game down the road.
Well,
which I'm hoping for.
That's also something I was going to bring up, because the trailer for Mass Effect 4 dropped last year. Walken and Mir didn't comment on in the article, but I assume you've seen that trailer.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a little bit. It's like, how do you create a sequel to a series where the developer said, "Hey, we want each player's experience to mean something, so we're not going to say what's canon and what's not." But there are some a couple of hints in that trailer. I think that they're going to make the destroy ending canon, the one where you wipe everybody out. But someone else brought up another point in conversation I was having with Liara being in that trailer, looking for Shepard, allegedly. Because we're going to get in a little bit into Asari anatomy,
They're a
I
race,
guess.
Kai. Yeah.
Asari is a race of blue aliens.
Thanks. I'm just listening.
They're quite beautiful.
Well, because everybody's trying to think, well, can you bring Shepard back? You have to get the best ending in Mass Effect 3 in order to even see the clip of him breathing at the end.
Well, Kai, that's what happens depending on the ending. There's 3 endings you get to choose from, and at the end of 3, and pretty much most of them end with you dying in some form or another ish,
or being assumed dead.
It's
I guess could be argued in a couple of cases.
Yes, exactly. Right. So there are ways to definitely, like Ian Malcolm it, like they did in Jurassic Park and the Lost World, the novels, and bring them back. So I did want to bring this to Kai's attention, though, because Kai doesn't play video games. But one of the things that's also great about this series is all of the voice acting they have. Okay. Now, everyone across the board is great, but I'm going to tell you some of the stars that you are familiar with, Kai.
Okay.
We were just talking about Lance Henriksen. He does Admiral Hackett, and he is one of my favorite characters in the whole series.
Yeah. I feel like he's in a bunch of video games for some reason.
He does do a lot of video games, and so does Keith David, who plays Anderson.
Yes. Yep.
He's the one at the end of the third one that sends me to tears every single time.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Yep. It's Anderson every single time. It's so good. I know that you are aware of Seth Green. He does a lot of voice acting in everything as well.
And he's a ginger. Be careful.
He's a ginger. Yeah, that's part of the reason I love him.
Slow your roll. Go ahead.
Yes.
Adam Baldwin. He's I think he's in the first one.
Adam Baldwin? Who's Adam Baldwin?
He's one of those Baldwins, the one that's in everything.
The seventh one?
You don't know who this is, but
the main
some people.
No, the main one's Alec. Who's Adam?
Are you being serial?
Adam Baldwin?
Jane Cobb, motherfucker.
Who? Oh, that guy. Okay, go ahead. I know Jane. Star Wars meets Firefly. There we go.
That's so fantastic.
Claudia Black does voices in a couple of them. Kai is not familiar with Claudia Black because she was in Stargate, but she was also in Pitch Black. She gets killed.
Here's the best part. Heather's I'm going to tell you some you know. Here's one you don't know because of a show I like that you don't know.
But you do know her. You know her from Pitch Black. But that is what she's most well known for. Trisha Helfer is in it, and she plays one of the most
6.
interesting
If
characters.
she's 6, then I don't care.
Yeah. She has
Are you-
Six's voice, and it's very sexy.
Are you glossing over a major one, Heather?
I haven't gotten there yet.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm leaving that one to
Building
the
us
end
up. This is
because
foreplay.
he's not
Right.
impressed with us yet. Michael Hogan, who is also in Battlestar Galactica, plays Captain
Oh,
Bailey. Yeah, which he plays a similar-ish character, kind of a washed-out guy, but still a good guy.
He gets higher billing than Trisha Helfer?
This isn't the billing. This is just in order
Feels like you were
of how
building
I'm
up.
saying
You
it.
just said you were building up.
Carrie Ann Moss plays a character called
Never heard of her.
Arya, and you should not fuck with her. You don't know who Carrie Ann Moss is. Of course you don't. Michael Dorn does a voice in it. Freddie Prinze Jr. does.
Kanan. I know nerdy shit. Fuck you guys. It's fucking Jedi Kanan, man. Let's go.
He is.
Nice.
All right,
nice.
and the big one that Michael and I were talking about. Go ahead and tell him.
Yeah.
Sir
Martin
Anthony.
Sheen.
Oh,
Martin
that's the
Sheen.
big
Yeah.
one?
Martin Sheen plays
The guy that does the prescription commercials?
Everybody does commercials
Yeah.
now, Kai. It's no longer a foreign thing for actors to do commercials. Martin Sheen, he does the voice of the elusive man, who is kind of a villain, kind of not a villain in the second and third game, and he's
so good.
and he's always smoking a fucking cigarette too. Yeah, he's
So
great.
fantastic.
I
That's
do
a
that,
really
and everyone's
pretty
like,
voice
stop, you're going to kill yourself. But Martin Sheen does it, and it's like, that guy's cool.
Oh, it's cool.
It's
Yeah.
very cool. Yes, I've never told you to stop smoking. You'll kill yourself. You can do whatever you want. You're an adult, sort of.
Don't smoke weed.
You probably shouldn't, but I'm saying, yeah. So I mean, it's a big game. It's a big deal to gamers, and we're all waiting for it. Like I said, I haven't taken a day off work since, it's been since July for funsies that I've taken a day off work. And I'm taking off Friday and Monday, and I'm not apologizing for being absentee on the planet, except for the MILFcast and maybe Jeopardy, because Sebastian's hosting on Saturday now. But otherwise, I'm off the grid, and I don't give a shit. I have the galaxy to save.
I'm super jazzed, actually. My my wonderful kids and my beautiful wife pre-ordered it for me, so I'll be ready to play it Friday night.
You know what would have been
It'll be
great about
downloaded, ready to go.
that whole statement is if you're like my shitty wife and my annoying kids.
But they're not. His family's
my wife is
awesome, too.
fantastic.
I'm not saying they're not. I'm just
Yeah.
like, everyone leads with that.
I-
I'm waiting for the guy that comes on here. You know what? My shitty kids and my shitty wife are going to bail for the weekend and let me play this motherfucker.
Okay. So we're
wanna
all
have that
probably
interview.
in the same wheelhouse
Right.
of age, I think. We all have
Yeah.
jobs that are time consuming. In fact, I might argue that Michael works way more than you or even I, Kai.
I'll throw money at
Me
that
and even you,
bet.
Kai. He works a lot. And we all have kids, and we're all really close with our families. It is really hard to make time for games. And I look at you, Michael, and go, I get jealous of you because it does seem like you get to play a lot. But one of the things I think is awesome is you play everything.
Right.
I definitely limit myself a lot more now. I don't play multiplayer games anymore, and I don't play as frequently. I have to do shit like take a weekend off so I can devote myself.
I don't play a lot. I just have certain time. See, because you're basing that off my Instagram, but what I do
This is
is
true.
I usually get 4 or 5 captures in one play session, usually 3-4 hours on like a Friday or Saturday night, and then I spread that out throughout the week. That's my cheat to all my followers or anybody else here that watches my Instagram. Yeah, over the course of a week is probably one play session.
Without giving out
That's
too
fair.
much information to all the stalkers on Twitch. Generally,
There's so many.
Generally, how old are your children?
My oldest one just turned 16, and my youngest one's 12.
Okay, so you're a busy guy. So when's the best time to game for you?
Oh,
Fucking, you're a cat lover. Now I know why you're here. No
has
more
animals.
cat people.
Animals,
Hey.
but no fucking geese.
Okay.
Okay.
No,
Not
but
just
you're
cats.
that weird in-between person that I'm even more confused about. So what is the best time to game?
For me, it's usually Saturday nights after I get back from Chicago, and then I'm up until 3 or 4 in the morning. And
What are you doing in Chicago? You threw that in there, and I'm
I'm a truck driver.
oh, okay. Makes sense.
Saturdays and Sundays I take a run out to Chicago and back. And
So what is the
Then I
time
work
frame when
another-
you're primarily gaming?
primarily between midnight and 3 or 4.
See, that's the thing. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Amazing.
Those
While
4
everybody's
hours.
asleep. Yep, it's while everybody's asleep.
Yep.
Hey, that's still I tell people that too. I'm the opposite end, but it's the same play. If I'm gonna get anything done without kids, I have to get up at 5 a.m. So that's why I get up at 5 a.m. So there's at least a couple hour buffer there for me for they're awake.
Yeah, you gotta take that time too for yourself too.
Yeah, and when you have a crazy house, which we all have, it's you need a little of that quiet time. It's definitely important to do. Definitely. And we have a house full of gamers. All of us play different games. We don't play
can I ask
a lot
a serious
of the same
question
games.
real quick? Based on that,
so we don't play together, but it's a good understanding of each other. Sure,
Heather, do you have internet problems? Are you ever gaming and you're like, God damn it, bros, stop playing because you're fucking with my game?
Not anymore. We have badass internet now, but there have been times in the past where, yes, there has been that argument.
Because I have the best one you could buy, and like he's gaming with his buddy, and my Netflix is buffering, and I can't buy a better one.
We haven't had that problem for a couple of years, and I can't really explain to you in detail why. I just trust in my husband handling all of that shit. He regularly, every so many months, will start calling, hey, what are you going to do for me for a cheaper price and faster shit? And then somehow afterwards we have cheaper internet, and it's considerably faster.
We have that too, but we can't get a better one. We have the highest speed. He's probably signing into the neighbors on Braz's devices.
He's not. The neighbors have shit. And if they want to get into mine, our actual address is LV426. I doubt anybody gets it.
Nice. Nice. Like that.
So the guy, he just came in and changed everything, and he asked me, and I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, oh shit, I don't know, what do I want to call it? And I named it, and he looked at me, he's like, okay, so you just gave it another bunch of weird series of numbers and letters. And I'm like, get the fuck out of my house.
You are not worthy.
No, he's in this room asking me those questions.
So clearly, here's my local news question for you two gamers. Are you ready?
Yes.
Hit me.
You prefer playing a game by yourself, story mode, full on, everybody's trying to kill each other? What's the best type of gaming? What do you prefer?
Solo.
Yeah, I like solo, RPGs now. Well, and that's the thing, and this is, I think you would be into them too, Kai.
I'm shocked that's what you chose.
Yeah, it's more immersive. It's an escape from reality. You are literally like playing these characters in these different worlds, and you get some games you get to have more impact on your choices and the outcomes than others. But at the end of the day, when you play these games, you're basically living in an exciting movie that you watch, or long TV series, or book that you read, but you're having controlling action over what's happening.
Well, for me, and actually my kid Ark is in the chat, Tokyo. I'll play multiplayer like Apex or Overwatch with him, but at the end of a long work week, when I just want to sit down and relax, the last thing I want to do is be playing with a bunch of people who are probably way better than me. And, I don't want to spend my whole limited game time just getting fragged and anything like that.
No. And that's the thing with multiplayer games too. It's very, very competitive. Literally, like the second a new game comes out and it's multiplayer, you've got like a week to learn those maps. And if not, you're going to come in as a noob and you're going to get your ass handed to you until you take the time. And then you have to keep playing all the time. It's a perishable skill. If you're not playing those games, like every time I sign back in, like Mike and I will go play bots in Call of Duty, like not all the time anymore, but we'll turn it on, and it always takes me a few minutes. I'm like, how the fuck do these controls work again? What does that gun do? Oh yeah, it takes me a lot longer than it used to. So it's a lot more time consuming, and it's there's not as much of a payoff. And also you end up playing with a lot of annoying people who you want to actually fist fight sometimes.
That's it. Yeah. I'm not a people person. I don't like people. So
I feel like this is part of what killed it for me, is like when I got into the multiplayer shit, it was like Star Wars Battlefront, Destiny, and like a couple others. And I enjoyed them both, but again, it's same idea. Like if you're not like devoted to the one and like memorizing all the shit and following it, you're gonna get your ass handed to you.
And you're a lower level too, so you don't have all the upgrades on weapons. I mean, there's just so many disadvantages. It's Destiny is a great game.
It came out 15 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. All right, so basically, because we do have other stuff to talk about, so Kai can be more involved too, because we love you, Kai. I actually, since you mentioned Rob Denner, I passed off my copy that was passed on to me of Mass Effect during COVID and gave it to Rob so he could play.
That sounds
Yeah,
like
I
I
heard.
gave him a disease.
Yeah, it's true.
I passed off my Mass
I
Effect
do what I
during
can.
COVID.
He's
The
known me since
best
I was
time.
19. I let him push me around the Blockbuster parking lot in a cart many times and other silly things. Rob has known me since I was a child, and
Yeah,
I've known him since he was a
What was
child.
it? It's been about 20 years.
Yeah.
I've known
He's
Rob too. Yeah, it's been
he's
a
a
while.
good egg. He's a good egg.
Yeah,
He's
I like him.
family.
Same.
Me
I
too.
like him.
And
He's
he
alright.
runs and he works in a comic shop now too, Kai. So he's constantly. He was one of the people that said he really liked your art
Oh, it's very nice.
recently. Yes. Okay, so we're gonna bring this around now. So because we've all grown up, this is one of the things that I think is super awesome about our generation is we did grow up before there was video games that we could
Have
play
we
at home, but
grown
we were the first kids to fucking play video games.
We were.
So we
True.
were the first kids where that became part of
Yep.
our culture
This was
and,
the thing.
and our life.
I told my daughter tonight we're gonna do gaming. She's like, "You don't know shit about gaming." I'm like, "I don't know shit about gaming now, motherfucker." But I
Well,
was there when it
here's-
started.
It
asshole.
doesn't matter. That's the thing. If you're a
That's
gamer, you're a gamer. It
true.
doesn't matter what you're playing. It
And I
really
used all those
doesn't.
words.
Like if you want to qualify board games as gaming,
No.
I think that applies.
No, I don't.
It does.
No, I don't.
It's all different, but it's
Does it
all
though?
this. I think most people that play board games play video games.
Well, I mean,
That I know. Yeah.
Sure.
I
Except
would
for like
disagree.
old
My
people,
mom
but we're
played
old.
live. She's never played Mario Brothers.
Hey, I just said except for people that are older than us. Once again, bringing it back to our generation. However, my mom is the reason that I got into video games. Even though she didn't let me play much because she sat there and played Sonic, Tapeworm can confirm. Would just sit there and play Sonic for hours and fucking hours and fucking hours. And we'd be like, can we play? Can we play? Can we play? Can we play? And then we'd play for 5 seconds and die. She'd be like, my turn.
This was
Horrible.
my thing that I said. This is the thing I hate. Your buddy would get Nintendo. He'd have it 2 weeks over Christmas. He's like, we'll take turns.
Yep.
And he goes 4 levels. And he's like, your turn. You die in the first turn. And he's like, give me that for 45 minutes.
Yep. It
Assholes.
sucks.
yep.
That's
That's how it works sometimes.
it was a much brutaler gaming time when we were kids though. You didn't get to
Yeah.
save games. You would have to get to any level. It would be like so difficult to do. I don't enjoy going back and playing those as much now because it's so hard. It's frustrating. But it's funny, make your kids now play those games. Like even Allie, she goes and will play Mario Kart with Mike, which I do like one time and I'm like, fuck this shit, I'm out. Because I'm gonna throw it.
You should have seen my kids on Dr. Mario on the NES.
Dr. Mario was my
Oh,
favorite,
yes.
and Tetris.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, my
Losing
mom.
their minds.
Yes, my mom would let me stay up all night when it was a school night and play, and I just sat there and fucking played. It was amazing. Oh, my nephew says hi, Aunt Heather. Hi, Andrew. You can come stay the night anytime you want, sweet pie. I love you. My nephew is the best. I love being an aunt.
It's a family.
He's great. He also games.
Nice.
But yeah, that was how crazy it was. I remember being in class studying, taking tests when I was in high school, and I would start hearing the fucking music in my head go, and then my brain would start to go there. That was the first game I ever got addicted to, like really, really addicted to.
See, I was in high school too, but at that time I was drawing Lara Croft in about as many different ways as I could.
Oh, you can draw her
Instead
in a
of
lot of
doing
different
homework.
ways. That's
Yes,
not
indeed.
a bad thing.
Laura Croft. Is Laura Croft made out of cheese?
Lara,
Lara Croft.
Which
And this is the
like a
same thing with.
SpongeBob drawing.
All right, so we're gonna do this thing now, where it's the desert island game. We're all going to pick our 5. It's not necessarily even our favorite games. It's the 5 games that we would take to the desert island with us if we could only play 5 games for the rest of our lives. You guys, please put in the chat ones that you would take with you, what your 5 are. We would like to share them and hear them. But, and like I said, they don't have to be your favorite. They are the ones that you could stand playing over and over and over again. I will start with my first one. And it is, depending on your rules, Kyle, I'll let you be the ruler of this.
If it's a board game, no.
No.
Okay.
The Mass Effect series would be my first. But can it be the trilogy, or do I have to just pick one from the trilogy?
You have to wait 6 months after release, and then you can take the trilogy.
That's
'Cause
not how it works. This is
No,
like a
that's
Lord of the Rings
that's
question.
the rule.
No, that's actually how it goes. You get the video game comes out, then you get the $20 like silver #1 hits of last year's series, and then you get the collection. So if you wait a year, you can take it.
I have the entire series. I own it. Can I take it's selling as one game,
no,
so I feel like I can take it.
Individual games.
Okay, if I got to pick one out of this series,
I'm gonna veto that because
you're not gonna veto anything on my show. I'll tell you right now. You're
Legendary
adorable.
Edition's coming out.
It counts as one game.
In one, it counts in both games. So there you go.
So it only counts as one.
Again.
Sorry, Kai. Sorry, Kai. My apologies.
This one is fair. Okay, but in another one that I have, I will not pick the trilogy. I will just pick my favorite game of the trilogy. If I had to pick one, I would pick 2 because 2 is not the best. The first one is the best, but 2 is the most fucking fun to play. I think it is my favorite game to play ever. It is so much fun. Every time I play it, I forget how much fun it was. And I'm like, this is great. This is great. This is great. It's just wonderful. So that was my first pick. What is yours, Kai?
Batman Arkham City.
Ooh, that's a good
choice.
Yeah, because mainly because of the game. So here's the thing: I don't game every game and get all like crazy about every game, but I will get a game and go fucking nuts for it until I'm done with it, and then move on. So Arkham City is like some of the best, and I played the other Batman ones too, and Arkham Asylum or whatever, not as great. City for whatever had the best. You could fly through the city. The way you beat people up was just amazing. The shit you had to go search for through the entire city was like amazing. So I would go with that one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
What would yours be, Michael?
Mine are in no particular order, but the first
Just do your first one. Yep.
My first one is Halo Reach. Halo Reach would be one of my top ones. That's my favorite one of the Halo series. It's different. You know, you got some memorable characters in there. It's got an amazing story. It's extremely well done. I think that's a solid pick.
I think that's a solid pick. That's I think most people's go-to on the Halo games. I stopped after I think 3, but that is the game that I hear the most love for in that series.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna read a few that are in the chat here because
wait, I have a question about this. Does Pokemon Go count?
It counts as a game, so yeah. I mean, the rules are, it's metaphorical, so it's not an actual island. We get to play video games on there, so yeah. I suppose that's fairsies.
Fair.
Okay, so that's definitely gonna be one of Kai's. Tapeworm says GTA 5, NFL 2K5, and Modern Warfare 3. I like that Modern Warfare 3 choice. That's probably my favorite Call of Duty. Yeah, It's definitely my favorite. And I'm really surprised, Tapeworm, that you didn't add NFL 94. Because that was definitely or NHL 94, because that was definitely my favorite hockey game to ever play. You could make that bitch Gretzky's head bleed. Carl says, Time Pilot, motherfuckers. Sebastian
really
says...
aggressive.
Yes, I love it. Coming from Carl especially. He's the best.
Why do we have to...
Jack and Daxter, I don't actually know what that is. The Precursor Legacy?
Jack.
That's from Sebastian. Jack. He says Mass Effect 2. Yep, Destiny 2. Monster Hunter World, which I've been told to play, and Bloodborne.
Destiny 2 over Destiny 1. Who agrees? In our
chat. Who says Destiny 2? Oh,
I'm asking you two, but we can get the chat involved as well. But you two, Destiny 1 or Destiny 2?
Destiny 2.
Yeah, I'd say Destiny 2 because Nathan Fillion voiced in the trailer. I'd never played either of those games actually.
Oh, there we go.
That's not what I got into, so.
We've got Dark Monkey in here, which means we have Larry. Larry says Mario Maker. Oh, well. XCOM, Final Fantasy 7, Just Cause 4, and Mutant League Football. Alley Cat says Final Fantasy 8. That is not a surprise.
Don't listen to Alley Cat. She doesn't know what she's talking about.
Yeah, you guys are gonna argue again. Asher says Bloodborne, Skyrim, Minecraft, Genshin Impact, and maybe Red Dead. Red Dead's a good choice.
I will say I've never played Red Dead. That's one I want to, and I know that's sad. I haven't fucking played it, but whatever.
That's one you should play, Kai.
And
okay,
Skyrim.
so
I've never played Skyrim.
Skyrim is another one that you can go back to forever and never get tired of. I always end up going back and going, "Why the fuck am I in this cave?
Right, here's
what
my
was I doing?"
Also, God of War. God of War is another one I've never done.
God of War is a good choice. That's a PlayStation guy thing. I actually haven't played it, but everybody
So
I
you
know.
gamers out there, I'm sorry I never played all these, but I was talking to your mom. All right, so let's keep going.
All right. My second choice is Witcher 3. I've played through it with the DLC. Yeah. The DLC is so huge. It's like it's taking on almost like another third of what the actual game is, which is so massive. Anyway, it was one of the biggest games I've ever played. And I still keep going back and finding little bits on all of these fucking islands and digging for treasure forever. And the completionist in me just goes bonkers whenever I end without doing that. But I have to go do Blood and Wine, so it happens. But it's a wonderful game. That's another one that Jeff told me I had to play, but he knows exactly what kind of games I like. And that is how I got hooked in the Witcher series in general.
Such a beautiful game.
It is so beautiful and it's so
really
much
good.
fun. It is so much fun.
blast.
I mean, it made Henry
Totally
Cavill go,
agree.
hey, I would like to play this character and be him.
Yeah.
And the books, too, pick them up because they're
He,
they're
like
awesome.
the rest of us, realized what a great thing it was and wanted to be a part.
Yes, especially like you, because I know it's your favorite game
Yeah,
ever.
absolutely. It's up there. It's not on my
Well,
phone.
by that logic, you should be playing Mass Effect because Henry Cavill is apparently involved in a television project for Mass Effect.
Yes, I saw something about that, and I don't even want to think about it because if it's true, I just might explode gasm right now. All everywhere.
Commander
be-
Shepard.
Oh gosh, if he. Oh jeez. Okay. All right. What's your next game? I'm gonna cool off here.
Actually, Oxenfree is my next game. It's an
I'm not
independent.
familiar with it.
Do you have
Yeah.
to play
It's-
Ollie Ollie to get to it?
No,
God
you do
damn it.
not. You do not indeed. I saw that coming. I should. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's an independent game, and you play this teenage girl who goes to this mysterious island, and friends start disappearing.
It's a horror movie.
And you have to. It's a bit of a thriller. It's a bit of, but the art animation is very basic, but it's just such a beautiful game. The story is amazing. And it's got replayability because you literally have to play through it probably 4 or 5 times to get all the endings and get the full story of what happened on this island. It's amazing.
I wonder if replayability is an actual word because it totally is.
It is.
It is.
It is.
Does it show up like if like you won't get auto corrected for saying replayability?
I get auto-corrected for saying hi.
I
It's like they
know.
know that I can't talk.
I'm just curious. It worked. I'm not talking shit. I liked it. I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
well, at the very least, it is a gamer term for sure. Like
I know
rewatching, it's
that.
not technically rewatching is constantly auto-corrected under some platforms too, and it's a word. So, shit's fucked.
Okay,
Your turn, Kai.
Well, no, I'm gonna throw Pokemon Go in the second slot because, by the way, you did Desert Island. I'm doing top 5 based on what I've spent the most time on. So
Okay.
I'm gonna go.
That's fair.
I'm gonna go Pokemon Go because I've been playing it for 5 years and I'm still like level 45, chasing 50. So whatever. Let's go, Heather. You.
All right, my next one, and I'm again going with replayability. This is why I'm taking him to the island.
Oh
But
wait,
this is
Allie
also-
has a good point. Is it replay ability or replayability?
I guess it depends on if you want to make word love or not.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, they're smushing it together, kind of like when they touch. Mine is the game that actually got me into multiplayer games, but and took up all of my free time for many years, and that was Gears of War.
Okay.
It is one of my all-time favorite games on the planet, which I know I've talked a little bit about on here before, so I will not totally crush Kai's head, but I'm gonna go with the second one on this one. It has the
Sorry.
it has
Get
dogs.
him! Kill him!
Kill, kill, kill. Blood
Get 'em!
makes the grass grow. Kill, kill, kill.
It's
Perfect timing
it's like
for
a
Gears of War.
UPS guy, like poor UPS guy.
I think that's probably one of the best campaigns. There's a couple really emotional moments in it, especially with Dom and his wife. There's a real like epic sense of end of the world, doom. You get a lot more in depth with all the characters and grow with them on it. The campaign's also considerably bigger and larger than the first one, but the second one too. That's when Horde was born, and that is where I've spent most of my life, is playing fucking Horde. That was me staying up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning after my divorce when the kids weren't home and I couldn't sleep, and just fighting for hours and hours to get to wave 50 with my buddies, and falling asleep in the middle of it and hearing, did Heather fall asleep again? Did she fucking pass out? Actually, Ripley, but somebody wake her up.
You were
and
the
somebody wake
you were
up
the
Hicks.
Thaddeus of your group. That's
I was. I really
our
was. But
narcoleptic friend Thaddeus.
the multiplayer on that game, the shotgun is not as wicked as the first game. The first game still has the most dirty shotgun of any game I've ever played, and I just fucking love it. But but yeah, it's a great game. And I just replayed the original trilogy like a couple months ago, just because it's been years, and I really miss my friends. So
Nice.
I missed it, and I went back to it, and I realized, yeah, this game still holds up. It's pretty fucking solid. So Gears of War 2.
Nice.
Yes. All right.
That's
What's
good.
your next one?
My next one.
Yeah.
This one's going a little bit further back, not all the way back, but halfway there. Resident Evil Director's Cut.
What's the all the way back?
All the way
Is
back.
that Pong?
would be
Atari, River Raid,
Atari. Yep.
some motherfucking River
No.
Raid or
Never
F-14
said
Tomcat.
before Atari. Go ahead. Sorry. What do I know about gaming?
Yeah, my next one's Resident Evil Director's Cut specifically. The first game, the Director's Cut of the first game. That was huge. That was a huge part of my high school experience.
Resident Evil games are solid, and they have a lot of really cool gameplay. I think the one I played the most was 5. I like the style of it too, and it was easy for me to adapt to. Kai, this is something you may not know too. There are some people who are natural gamers, where they just immediately are good at everything that they do.
Why would
And
I
then
not
there
know
are people.
that? Being one.
Oh yes, you're the biggest gamer that I've ever met.
I'm good at the ones I play, motherfucker.
I forgot that I have to keep it under wraps and not tell people, because you don't want to intimidate everyone with your glory. But it is a thing where some people pick up and catch on really fast to just about everything, and then some of us like me have a learning curve. Or there are certain styles that you are better at than others, and I like the Resident Evil games because they just feel natural for me to play. So, and they're really fucking cool too.
Yeah, they're absolute blast. I haven't played the last couple of ones. I think 6 was the last one I played.
Yeah, I don't think I played anything after that either. Maybe I bought them. I don't know. Sometimes I do that too, where I get really excited about a game and then I buy it and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna play that. It sits there for like 2 or 3 years and I go, fuck, I suck.
Yep,
That's the worst
problems.
adult problem ever. You finally have money to buy video games that you want, but you don't have the damn time.
Yep.
All right, Kai, what's your third one?
Here's the thing. We have a hard out tonight, and I apologize. So I'm going to take over the show now.
Okay.
Number 3 for me, Mortal Kombat arcade version, first one.
That's an awesome choice.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
That's an awesome
choice. A lot
choice.
of quarters to get to that guy with a bunch of arms. All right.
Oh.
Heather, let's go to your number 4.
My number 4 is actually the original first Plants vs. Zombies. I started playing this by an accident. Allie played it like crazy and kept going, Mama, you're going to love this game. You're going to love this game. And I'm like, fuck that game. But the music was always like super chill and I liked it. And then one day I sat down and started playing. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. It's just puzzles. And I like Tetris and Dr. Mario and that kind of stuff just totally absorbs my attention, and I can actually just disconnect from everything, and I find it completely relaxing. And I still play it. Like I had no idea how addicted to it I was until I started dating Mike, and I'd say, I'm on my way over, and then I'd show up an hour and a half later and he'd be like, what were you doing? And I was like, oh shit, man, I got caught up in Vase Breaker. What wave did you get to? Like 35. What the hell is wrong with you? Okay. And that still exists in this house, but we all love it here. But I have no shame in my love for that.
And then they
game.
got married.
Delightful. Yeah, and had
That's
a baby.
the whole pre-story to the marriage.
Baby dragon.
That's a beautiful story.
It is. All right, I'll give you mine. I've got a tie. There's
Oh wait, we gotta have Mike's fourth one.
No,
Oh,
I'm in charge of the show now. You end on the guest. I don't know why you don't know the rules of the show at this point.
I don't know because
That's
you're
fine.
hosting again, and that's when I get
I'm back
confused.
at the hosting
I'm
role.
much better at being
So I'm
in
gonna
charge.
throw mine out and then spend time on him. So just real quick. So
Okay.
when games that cost $0.25 went to $1, there was a couple shooting games I loved. House of the Dead, and there was also a police game, and I can't remember the name right now. It's fucking killing me. But you would like take a pistol and you would do different tasks. You'd have to like shoot cans and like people would pop up, and you'd not shoot the like citizens. You'd have to shoot the robbers.
Was that the one with the pedal? The one with the pedal that put you behind cover and then you pop up and you had a partner
That
with
might have
you?
had a pedal, yes. But some of them were just shooting targets, like literally in a gun range. And like
Time Crisis, yes.
Time Crisis.
it's not Time Crisis. But
God
that is a
damn it.
fun game too. So that's what I put for my second to last one. What about? Go ahead, it's your turn, sir.
Oh,
sorry.
My second to last one would be XCOM.
Yes.
Aliens
I played in
invade
his XCOM.
Earth. Yeah. It's turn-based strategy. It's just a blast. It's a fun game to play. It's that one would keep me busy for a while. That'd be good for a desert island.
Yeah, and then restarting it seems to have just as much enjoyment too. So
it does, and then you put your friends in it and see how they do and see if they survive.
I didn't survive often too long. Actually, I think I survived. I just usually wasn't very, very high ranked, I think is what it was. Most of the time. Yeah. I would keep tabs on those because I cared about my fictional version of myself.
Yeah. Well, naturally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, Kai B. Parker.
Heather,
would you like to hear my last one?
I would like to hear your last one in my ear right now.
Okay. It was really, really hard to pick. I kind of wanted to do Tetris and Dr. Mario. I also wanted to do my favorite racing game ever, Lotus 2. That game is it's so old and so much fun. I wanted to do the arcade Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Golden Axe because I love those. But I know what game that I would bring with me, and it would be from the Xbox original and 360, I think it was. Actually, it was 360. Star Wars Battlefront 2. When my brother came back from the military, it was the only time in our lives where we weren't like super close to each other, and I missed him. So I would go over to his apartment and we would play for hours, and it was so much fun.
That's so awesome.
It is still I have it over here right now, and I will go put it in my Xbox right now and play it at any given time.
2-over-1?
2-over-1. Yes, and I'm not talking about the new one. We're talking about the original one because it is much superior to the remake of it. That was very disappointing in comparison, but it is a wonderful game. It feels like you're really in the middle of Star Wars. That you are there. You're all of these characters, and you can go on brutal kills. You can be the villain. You can be the good guys. You can play all of these characters that you've loved for your whole life, and it's just so much fun. The original Battlefront 2, that is correct, Sebastian. My brother and I played it like crazy, and he was much better than me, and I never wanted to admit that, but since we're on the podcast now and he's watching, I will admit that he was better than me. But I was badass, and he can't deny that.
It's on the record. That's canon now.
Yep. And as our children have gotten older, we've had to school them multiple times over the years to remind them who's the bad motherfuckers in the house.
So for my last one, I was tempted. So there's a couple games I used to literally just go to Disneyland to play because the only place I could find them. There's an old school Tron arcade game.
Oh, dude.
Where you could compete in the different things. You could do the disc, you could do the cycle, you could do another one. They actually had a Star Wars one too that was the same idea. There's 3 phases. You could do ship fighting, I think. You could be the scout troopers and Jedi trying not to crash into a tree. And there was another one too. And the arcade games just came out with a version of that. It's kind of neat. I might consider getting it. But I was thinking about like what I used to spend a lot of time playing at the arcade when I was younger. And I did go a lot of arcade because I actually really like that experience. I'm trying to buy some arcade games for my house.
Heck yeah.
And I hope I get the right one. I think it's NBA Jams. There used to be a 2-on-2 basketball game. And I Googled it before the show, but it said like you used to play as like Shaq and Scott Skiles, but it was back when Shaq was on the Orlando Magic. I would play as from what I remember, I thought it was Shaq and Penny Hardaway. It might have been Scott Skiles, but you would do 2-on-2 basketball. It's one of the first games that had like the NBA licensed ability to use like actual names, actual NBA logo, all that shit. You would play 2-on-2. You would jump higher than characters are allowed to jump in real life, like over the heads of 7-foot people. And do ridiculous shit, and it was a lot of fun. You play 2-on-2, and that was like one of my favorite games.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I remember when that one came to, what was it? Genesis, came to Genesis and SNES from the arcade. I remember that.
Yep.
Such a fun game.
And a lot of love for Street Fighter. I spent my entire senior year of high school playing it on Nintendo because it's like one of the first games I brought home. I spent way more money in the arcade playing Mortal Kombat, and that was so much fun to me.
It was such a blast. Yeah.
So close this out. What is your last one, man?
Red Dead Redemption 2.
2. It's always the 2s.
Oh my goodness, Mike is gonna come over here and get on here and start yelling at you.
Here's the funny thing: movies are always like
his in half.
Movies are always like a disappointment when you get to the sequel. It seems like, but with video games, you guys are all picking 2s, which is interesting.
Well, what's interesting about 2 is that it's actually the prequel to the first Red Dead Redemption.
It's 0.5.
Yeah, and just the environment, the story, the gameplay. It's just amazing. And it's one game that, if I have a lull where I don't know what to play, Red Dead Redemption 2 is usually a thing that goes in, yeah.
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 I've most of the people I know. That's another one that I've had sitting there, and I started it and got I got a bit into it, and then something shitty happened, and I got mad and frustrated, and I left, and I didn't go back, which is something totally normal to me. I did that with GTA 5 too, and then I went back to it like a year later and finished it in a weekend, and it was so much fucking fun.
Oh yeah.
Like Adam will sit there and see people on TV now and go, "Hey, is that guy Trevor?" And I'm like, "Oh my god." My parenting skills are on fire.
That's awesome.
He knows all the characters.
Yeah.
He knows Michael. He knows Franklin because my Mike plays it a lot still. But I do that a lot with those, and I do need to go back to it. Brosnan's also played it, and he swears it's one of the greatest games ever. And I love the first one. I think it is one of the best games ever. So
it's definitely a polish, shine, and improvement on the first game. It's awesome.
Okay, let me one more time show my age. I bought The Last of Us. Do I need to play it?
yes.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if games are old or any otherwise either. Like, I don't think I picked up Dead Space until like 5 years ago.
Last of Us holds up.
Yeah, some games are just good no matter what.
What's better, Last of Us or Last of Us 2?
That would be a question for my kid.
Tokyo in the chat. What's up, kid?
Said, yes, play The Last of Us. It is so good.
Yeah, but one or two.
there you go.
Tokyo's in the chat.
One or
What's
two.
up? No, you're not allowed on camera. I'm
two, or two.
All right, Heather, so start looking for who we're going to raid tonight, please.
All right, let's do that. Thank you so much for coming on tonight, Michael. And
Thanks for
as
having me. It was a
usual,
blast.
everybody, thank you so much for tolerating our at the beginning of the show chaos, because I mean that's what we do best.
Damn, I hate
at this point. We screw up the beginning and we screw up the end, and then we're magical in the middle. All right,
Like a
we can go to Artemis, who is playing Resident Evil and has.
Wait, which one? 2 or 5?
It's Resident Evil Village.
No, fuck that guy.
Oh, the
Find
new
somebody
one.
else.
Yeah. We have Cameron Creates on right now, and someone named Dino Nalgon. I don't know who that is.
That
They're
sounds
just
like
chatting, though.
Yeah, that sounds like an interesting name. Let's just raid that shit and see what happens.
Okay, do you guys want to get
Nice.
weird? Because I love
You guys,
getting
let's
weird.
get weird. Tell them MILFcast
get
sent you.
weird.
Thank
Tell
you
them the
for
MILFcast
joining
sent
us.
you.
We'll see you guys this
Peace out.
Sunday.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you, everybody, for coming and tuning in. And let's see if it works before I say goodbye. Oh, it is working. So we are
Let us
going.
know if you like when Heather hosts more than I.
Yes, even though I didn't really host, but I hosted. That's how I host. I'm good at being in charge.
Nice. Did just fine, I think.
Hey, there it went. I think it's going. Yep, it went.
Dino now, Don.
This channel is intended for mature audiences. I'm in, baby.
Nice.
Wow. Check
Always a good
this
time.
out.
Whoa.
What?
Why does that dude look
is
familiar?
up? I don't
That dope
know.
hair.
But I was just going to say I'm very jealous of the hair action that's happening there. That's pretty impressive. I have
jealous
no
of
idea.
anybody that has hair.
I don't get this emoji shit that happens on Twitch at all.
I know, that's what we need to learn. We
Oh,
need
Yeah, I
we
to
don't
can
learn.
do the rate button.
Let's put this on the YouTube. We're trying to learn the Twitch, guys.
We're so trying to learn the Twitch.
I'm going to
We're
stop
so
recording
old.
now.
We're so out of touch.
Bye. We have to go knit
See you
some
guys
things
later.
and join the AARP or whatever.
No.
I always say we're